To achieve the extraordinary, to transcend the ordinary limitations that bind the average person, you must first embrace a level of delusion. The world, with all its rules, its structures, its limitations, seeks to bind you to reality. It demands that you follow the path that has been laid out before you, that you conform to the accepted standards, and that you make decisions based on what is possible, practical, and reasonable. But those who rise above, those who leave an indelible mark on history, do not follow the path of the mundane. They are not governed by the rules of practicality. They are driven by a belief so powerful, so irrational, that they appear delusional to those who operate within the confines of reason. The most successful individuals in history were not those who followed the established rules. They were the ones who broke them, who bent reality to their will by believing in what others deemed impossible. They dared to dream beyond the boundaries of reality, creating their success not by what the world told them was achievable, but by what they refused to accept as impossible. To be delusional is to possess the strength to believe in yourself, even when everyone else doubts you. It is to possess the faith to continue moving forward, even when the odds are stacked against you. The delusion is not a weakness. It is a strength. It is the fuel that propels you forward when logic and reason fail. Delusion is not to be confused with ignorance, however. It is not the refusal to acknowledge facts or reality. Instead, it is the ability to see beyond them. It is the recognition that the current reality is not fixed, that the present conditions are not permanent. The true delusional mind understands that what exists today does not define what can exist tomorrow. This is the difference between those who play within the limits of the world and those who break free from it. The ones who change the world do not accept the boundaries that others place before them. They create new boundaries, ones that suit their vision, ones that lead to unimaginable achievements. Every great success in human history was once thought to be impossible. The first human flight was considered delusional. The moon landing was considered absurd. The idea of eradicating diseases that once decimated populations seemed laughable to those who were confined to the limitations of their time. But these delusions became reality because the individuals who held them were not content with the world's definition of what was possible. They didn't listen to the voices that tried to tell them no. They cultivated a belief in themselves and in their vision that could not be swayed by the doubt and ridicule of others. And that belief was so powerful, so overwhelming, that it shaped the world around them. Delusion is not about living in a fantasy world, it is about shaping reality according to your own design. The act of being delusional is a necessity for success, especially when the path to your goals is unclear, undefined, or obstructed. Life, in its most natural state, resists change. It resists the new, the different, the unknown. The status quo fights back against anything that challenges it. People in power, institutions, and established systems all work to keep things the same. The ordinary person, the one who accepts the world as it is, will naturally follow this flow. They will make decisions based on what is practical, safe, and rational. They will conform to the existing standards because that is what is expected of them. But those who seek greatness must reject this flow. They must embrace the unknown and the uncertain, and in doing so, they will appear delusional to others. Those around you will doubt your abilities, your dreams, and your vision. They will point out the harsh realities, the harsh truths of the world, and they will insist that you be realistic. And this is where the delusion becomes vital. If you listen to these voices of doubt, if you allow them to dictate your decisions, you will never break free from the ordinary. You will never achieve greatness. But if you maintain your delusion, if you continue to believe in the impossible even when the world tells you it can't be done, then you are on the path to greatness. The delusion is your weapon. It is your shield. It protects you from the forces that seek to pull you back into the ordinary. To be delusional is not to be irrational, but to be steadfast in the belief that your vision, no matter how far-fetched it may seem to others, is not only possible but inevitable. The world in its current state is full of limitations, limitations that are defined by the beliefs of the collective. People believe that success can only come from specific avenues, that certain things are impossible, and that certain dreams are unattainable. But to be delusional is to disregard these limits. It is to refuse to accept that the world is as it appears. The visionary, the creator, the innovator does not accept reality as it stands. Instead, they look beyond it and see a world filled with infinite possibilities. They understand that success, greatness, and achievement are not dictated by the rules that others set. They are defined by the person willing to rewrite those rules. The true power of delusion lies in the refusal to accept the boundaries that others impose. It is the recognition that the world is not fixed, and that by believing in your vision, by living in the realm of what others call impossible, you will shape your own reality. Those who are delusional do not wait for validation from others. They do not seek permission to dream or to act on their desires. They create their own path, and in doing so, they inspire others to follow. The world may try to convince you that your dreams are too big, too far out of reach. It will tell you that you should be more practical, more realistic. But the most successful individuals in history did not wait for approval. They did not wait for society to tell them it was okay to dream big. They followed their own internal compass, their own belief in what was possible. They pushed forward in the face of doubt, in the face of ridicule, and in the face of failure. They did not stop because the world told them no. They persisted, knowing that every great achievement requires a degree of delusion. To be delusional is to trust in your ability to create what others believe to be impossible. It is to trust in your vision, even when others cannot see it. And it is in that trust, that belief, that the impossible becomes possible. Delusion is not a tool to be used recklessly, however. It is not an excuse for blind faith or foolishness. The delusion must be guided by a clear vision, a purpose, and a relentless pursuit of that purpose. The most successful individuals are those who couple their delusion with action. It is not enough to simply believe in the impossible. You must also act as if it is already real. The delusion is the fuel, but action is the vehicle that drives you toward your destination. It is through consistent effort, through the daily grind of pushing forward, that the delusion becomes reality. The more you work toward your dream, the more the universe aligns to make it happen. Your delusion shapes the world around you. It changes the way you perceive obstacles and failures. What others see as barriers, you will see as stepping stones toward your ultimate goal. This is the power of the delusion. When coupled with hard work and dedication, it becomes unstoppable. To be delusional is to understand that there will be failures. You will face setbacks, disappointments, and moments where your belief in your vision will be tested. The delusion will not shield you from the harsh realities of life, but it will provide you with the resilience to rise above them. It will give you the strength to continue moving forward, even when the world tries to knock you down. The delusion is what fuels your perseverance. It is the belief that your dreams are worth the struggle, that the journey, no matter how difficult, will lead to something greater. Those who are delusional understand that failure is not the end. It is simply a part of the process. It is through failure that you learn, adapt, and grow. The delusion gives you the courage to keep going, to keep fighting, even when the road seems impossible. And it is this persistence, this refusal to give up, that turns delusion into reality. In the end, the greatest achievements are born from the willingness to embrace the delusion. It is the refusal to accept the limitations that others place on you, the refusal to be constrained by the boundaries of reality. When you embrace the delusion, you free yourself from the chains of doubt, fear, and uncertainty. You allow yourself to dream without limits, to pursue without hesitation, and to believe in what others say cannot be done. And it is through this belief, this delusion, that you will find the strength to rise above, to create, and to achieve greatness. The world may call you delusional, but history will call you visionary. To truly understand the essence of delusion, you must first recognize the role that illusion plays in our survival. Humans are not creatures designed to face the raw, unfiltered truth of existence. If we were, we would crumble under the weight of the infinite void that surrounds us, the overwhelming meaninglessness that permeates every corner of reality. The harsh truths of life, our mortality, the indifference of the universe, the endless suffering that cycles through the human experience, are too much for the mind to bear. We are not built to embrace these truths in their purest form, and so we create illusions. These illusions are what sustain us. They are what give us meaning, purpose, and direction. They are the stories we tell ourselves about who we are, about what we are capable of, and about the world we live in. The truth, in its most raw form, is unbearable. It is only the illusion of truth, the carefully constructed narratives we build, that allows us to navigate through life without succumbing to despair. To be delusional, in a sense, is to be human. It is to accept that our perceptions are distorted, but that these distortions are what allow us to function. Without them, we would be lost in the chaos of reality, unable to move forward, unable to find meaning in the world. The delusion we hold is not a weakness. It is a vital part of our survival. It keeps us alive, it keeps us striving, and it keeps us moving forward when the truth would otherwise paralyze us. What's more powerful than the truth is the belief that we can manipulate it. There is a certain power in choosing what to believe, in bending reality to fit our desires. Those who achieve greatness, those who make the impossible happen, are not those who simply accept the world as it is. They are the ones who create their own version of reality. They do not see the truth as a fixed point, an objective fact that cannot be altered. They see the truth as malleable, something that can be shaped by their own will. This is where delusion becomes an essential tool. It is the belief that despite the overwhelming odds, despite the seeming impossibilities, we can bend the truth to our will. We can shape our circumstances, our future, and our world by believing in a reality that others would dismiss as fantasy. This delusion is not blind optimism. It is a conscious decision to create the world we want to live in. And this decision, this delusion, drives us to push beyond the boundaries of what is considered possible. It forces us to confront the illusions of limitation that society imposes upon us, and it empowers us to destroy them. To embrace this delusion is to understand that the truth is not a fixed set of facts. It is a collection of perceptions, of beliefs, and of stories that we create and live by. And by choosing to believe in a different version of truth, we unlock the ability to change our lives, our destiny, and our world. At the heart of all delusion lies the fundamental need for meaning. Human beings crave purpose. They cannot function without a sense that their lives matter, that their existence has significance. This need for meaning is so ingrained in us that we will construct elaborate illusions just to fulfill it. The truth, when fully confronted, is often void of meaning. Life in its natural state is indifferent. It is a series of events that happen without rhyme or reason. There is no grand purpose, no overarching plan, no design behind the chaos. But the human mind cannot accept this. We cannot live without purpose, without meaning, and so we create illusions. We tell ourselves that our lives have meaning, that our actions matter, and that we are on a path towards something greater. These illusions fuel our ambition, our desire to improve, and our will to survive. The delusion is the driving force behind human achievement. It is the reason why people continue to strive for greatness, even in the face of insurmountable obstacles. It is the belief that there is something more, something worth fighting for, even when the truth tells us otherwise. The delusion gives us purpose. It is the illusion of meaning that propels us forward, that motivates us to keep going when everything around us tells us to stop. However, the problem with delusion arises when we confuse it for reality. We begin to believe in our own illusions so completely that they become indistinguishable from the truth. This is where many people falter. They become so entrenched in their delusions that they lose sight of the fact that they are, in fact, living in a world of self-created illusions. They believe that their fabricated truths are the only truths, that their constructed realities are the only ones that matter. But this is a dangerous path. The moment you stop questioning your own beliefs, the moment you stop challenging your own perceptions, is the moment you become trapped in your own mind. The key to mastering delusion is not to allow it to become all-encompassing. You must retain the ability to step outside of your own created reality and view it with a critical eye. The best way to use delusion is to remain aware that it is, in fact, an illusion. You must be able to see through the veil, to understand that the truth you perceive is not an absolute truth, but a creation of your own mind. This awareness allows you to use delusion as a tool, not as a prison. It allows you to create your own reality without becoming enslaved by it. The true power of delusion lies not in blind faith, but in the awareness that it is a tool, a mechanism that helps you survive, achieve, and thrive in a world that would otherwise overwhelm you. Delusion becomes dangerous when it stops serving a purpose. When we start to believe that the illusions we have constructed are the only truths, we stop evolving, we stop growing, we stop questioning. The key to using delusion effectively is to understand that it is a means to an end, not the end itself. The illusion of truth is meant to empower us, to give us the strength to continue when faced with adversity. It is meant to drive us toward our goals, to help us see beyond the limitations of our current circumstances. But if we cling too tightly to our illusions, we risk losing sight of the reality we are striving to create. We risk becoming stagnant, trapped in the very beliefs that once helped us survive. The power of delusion lies not in becoming trapped by it, but in using it to propel us forward, to break through the walls that the world has built around us. It is only when we lose the ability to step outside of our delusions and see the world as it truly is that we begin to lose our power. We must use delusion as a tool to break free from the confines of reality. But we must always remain aware that the reality we create is not the ultimate truth. It is simply a stepping stone toward something greater. The greatest achievements in human history were born from the illusion of truth. Every revolution, every breakthrough, every act of defiance against the status quo was driven by the belief in a different reality, a reality that others deemed impossible. These delusions were not only powerful, they were transformative. The visionaries who changed the world did not simply accept the world as it was. They created their own truth, their own reality, and they lived by it. They built the future not by accepting the limitations of the present, but by imagining a world where those limitations no longer existed. And through their belief in a different reality, they reshaped the world around them. Delusion, in its purest form, is the ultimate act of creation. It is the belief that the truth is malleable, that it can be shaped by our will, and that we are not bound by the circumstances of our current reality. It is the belief that anything is possible, that the world can be remade in our image, that we can create the future we desire. Those who dare to live in their delusions are the ones who shape the world. It is not the truth we see that shapes our lives. It is the illusion of truth that keeps us alive, that drives us forward, that pushes us toward greatness. In the end, the illusion is not an obstacle, it is the key. It is the force that propels us through life, that keeps us moving forward even when the truth would paralyze us. It is the belief that something more is possible, that the world is not as it seems, and that we have the power to shape it as we see fit. The illusion of truth is not something to fear. It is something to embrace. It is not the reality of life that defines us, but the illusions we choose to believe in that propel us toward greatness.